Okay, let's go here with Derek. Talk some Dodgers ball. And he goes, hey, was Ohtani's game 4 the greatest individual performance in a baseball game ever?
Well, outside of Doc Holliday throwing a no-hitter in the postseason, which is a phenomenal individual accomplishment, outside of Reggie Jackson hitting 3 home runs, this in terms of a one-off, this had to be the greatest of modern time. And, I know he's a Dodger, and I know San Diego people don't like people in LA. Appreciate the accomplishment, because I swear to you, people, we are never, ever going to see a player of this magnitude, multidimensional, as we're seeing right now from Showtime.
Yeah, I mean, it was just insane. I mean, this guy is a freak. I mean, it's just so over the top talented. I mean, there's no comparison in any other sport either. I mean, I remember one of the football games I was watching, they were trying to say, it's like throwing 4 touchdown passes and then sacking the quarterback 4 times. I mean, no one does that.
And he struck out 10 batters to boot, in addition to hitting 3 bombs.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, what is it, about him that just makes him so darn good? I mean, it obviously physically he's built like an amazing athlete, but there's a million of those guys.
I think we've seen since he became a Dodger, because we never hardly ever saw him, the Angels. The Angels aren't on TV down here, and the Angels have been very good, so they weren't on national TV. But you look at his stride and you look at the power behind his stroke.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing to me that is the most impressive. And now we see him as a pitcher, and you look at the ball movement with what he's doing, just unbelievable. Now, he's 31 years of age. He's not a kid. Most people think, oh, Ohtani's a young guy. He's not. He's actually really a vested Major League veteran. But what an accomplishment of all time.
Yeah. And of course, it's with the Dodgers. Of course.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, let's go here to Jason. Hey, Preller is not responsible for what happens on the field. The players are. He did everything he could to win. Players did not get it done. Bats are afraid.
Well, the players failed. Players choked. True. But at the end of the day, he is the one that's charged with putting together the package, the roster, the product on the field. And I think when you have 90 and 93 win seasons and you're in the pennant race and you see how the community's responded, that's because Preller's done his job. Now, the players didn't do their job at the end of the season, but this spins back to the big argument about what's going on upstairs and the barbed wire rolling down the hallway, and Eric Grupner's on one side and Preller's on the other. Solve this situation. Grupner is an all-star as it relates to the ability to market and run a stadium. Preller's done a great job making the product so good that fans want to come to Petco Park. Don't implode this front office. That's my opinion.
Yeah, there's some people here like Jason are like, yeah, Preller, he hasn't done anything wrong, or he's not to blame. And other people are like, fire Preller, he's the problem. And if they're not complaining about Preller's assembly of the roster, because they'll talk about this weakness or that weakness, they're upset with Preller for trading the farm away. They're upset for Preller for creating a toxic culture. There's just all these theories. I mean, it just makes you wonder, like, if you are a person, an employee for the Padres, and you know the truth of what's going on, it must be entertaining in a weird way that some things you hear are completely fake and other things you hear are true, but the media doesn't quite have it right. I mean, so we're just sort of guessing, aren't we?
A little bit, but you're connecting dots from people you trust in baseball. I mean, I deal with retired executives who are in the know. I deal with agents who have opinions and obviously some form of inside information. So every working guy in the media has those contacts. And then you try to piece it together and say, this is the theory that I have as to what happened. And the Schilt thing, the minute that got out, then all of a sudden the St. Louis stuff got out. All of a sudden everybody in St. Louis started talking about what the hell happened with Schilt behind closed doors.
Who's your favorite manager of all time?
Oh, my God.
Or who do you think it was the best manager of all time?
Well, I grew up in the baseball era. I grew up with Casey Stengel, who I thought was just absurd. But he was really good, but he had great players. He was so different. That's a really hard question. Boy, I'd have to think about that. My brain's too clogged with names right now.
Well, isn't it amazing? Because there was a pretty wide consensus, let's say 5, 6, 7 years ago, that it was Bob Melvin was like the best manager that exists today. And now look where he is.
Yeah.
So it just seems like, yeah, there are special managers that come along that can change a culture in a positive way and create a winning attitude. And there's others that'll self-destruct, and sometimes it's out of their control. It's a weird profession.
Yeah. I mean, Lasorda was tremendous, but I got tired of Lasorda's antics, but that was Lasorda's DNA. I happen to think, and he gets no credit at all. The job that Dave Roberts has done managing personalities, egos, cultures in the Dodger clubhouse is phenomenal. I like Scioscia. I like dealing with Mike Scioscia when he was with the Angels. And he's a little bit old school. I understand that. And it kind of ended really poorly. So managers have their way they do their business. Then managers have to hope they have good players. Managers have to hope there's no injuries, and they have to manage whatever's going on with the players' private lives. So I think it's a really tough job, and it's a grind. My God, it's 162 games in 180 days.
Bruce Bochy, man. I mean, he could go down as one of the top 3, if not number 1.
4 rings.
Yeah.
Good organizations, too.
But still, I mean, even when he was with the Padres, everyone knew that he was a great manager, even though they didn't have the financial resources to really build a good lineup around him. But I've heard stories online, they're talking about how behind closed doors, Boch was real tough on his assistant managers as well. He'd really challenge Flannery and some of these other guys to get their act together and to hold up their side of, the overall team package, to get their guys going, and say, yeah, Boch may be one of the best.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, let's go here to T. Will. Hey, who does Saw have tonight, Toronto or Seattle?
Boy, Seattle's young pitchers, I don't know, it appears to me the stage is too big. That's been the biggest surprise to me. I mean, I thought after the Mariners won those first 2 games, I thought this is going to be a walk in the park. I couldn't believe Toronto was down 2-0 and having to go to the Northwest to play, but then Toronto bounced back, and Toronto's just hitting the hell out of the ball. So I don't know if the stage is too big for Seattle's young starting pitchers, but they need Kirby to come out tonight and do it. Who's got the better batting order? I really like all the things that Seattle's got in their batting order. But boy, Vlad Guerrero he's having a kind of year that everybody expected Vlad Guerrero to have. So it's going to be fun. But the Dodgers, I'm sorry. The Dodgers are up here. The rest of baseball is here. Am I right or am I right?
Dodgers. Okay. I mean, like right here, yeah, Derek says, yeah, Saw is smart. He has the Jays, LOL. So it's been a hell of a series. I mean, it just, after the first 2 games, you thought, oh my God, Seattle's just going to roll. And then all of a sudden the momentum swings back to Toronto, and you're like, oh my God, Seattle's cursed again. And now Seattle seems to, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a game 7, though.
Does either one have any pitching left? Dan Wilson sat there, has kind of burned through all of his pitchers, and I think he mishandled the kid's starting pitcher. So all hands on deck. We'll just say who's got enough arms.
Just a side story on Dan Wilson. I remember reading a story once that there was a bar in Seattle that they had a certain beer. I don't know what brand it was, some kind of obscure one. And the price of a pint of that beer was whatever his batting average was as a catcher, so sometimes it'd be like $1.94 or it'd be like $2.32, so I think that's funny. That's funny that now he's back in charge running that team. I want Seattle to win, but yeah, both of those teams are just going to get rolled by LA.
Yeah. Sorry, LA is here. Everybody else is down here watching the World Series. Thank you, Derek. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go here to Jeff. East Coast media must be going crazy after the Giants gave up 33 points in the 4th quarter and another Jets loss.
I just don't understand how in the world, after the Giants got a 19-0 lead, they could not get first downs in the 4th quarter. They kept going 3 and out or turnover, and then bingo. I mean, Denver had scoring drives with 33, 51, and 56 yards. 3 possessions resulted in touchdowns that quickly.
Well, yards or seconds?
Seconds.
Yeah.
They just kept hitting the Giants with big plays. It may be the all-time worst 4th quarter collapse in the history of the NFL.
Well, didn't you say that the Giants had a great defense and then they added Abdul Carter and they were going to be like super loaded?
But they're on the field the whole 4th quarter. You give up 295 yards in chunk plays, can't get off the field.
Yeah, Peyton and Nix. I mean, that's a pretty potent combination.
I think so.
Yeah, wow.
So here comes Denver. Kansas City looks like they're back. Chargers are in big trouble. And there's a new definition of the black hole. what that means in terms of Raiders football. AFC West looks so weird right now. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go to Gustavo. Hey, Hacksaw, it's true that the Padres want to hire Albert Pujols as the manager.
Yes. In fact, it may well be that they were interviewing him today. I was a bit surprised that the story filtered out late last night that the talks had ended with the Angels, because most people have the opinion that's a slam dunk. And I don't know whether the Angels got cold feet, whether they're concerned that Pujols has no managerial experience to really speak of, or whether it was just strictly a financial situation, because Pujols made a lot of money and then was on a personal services contract to Arte Moreno. But Pujols, I'm led to believe this week is interviewing with the Orioles, and obviously is it might have happened today or is happening today with the Padres. If Pujols wants to be a major league manager, but there's so many other good guys out there. You know, the Padres have to cross the bridge. Are we willing to hire somebody who's got no experience at all, like Pujols, or a guy like Mark Loretta? Are we going to hire somebody who's got a lot of baseball expertise, who's been a coach and a player, and then worked in the front office like a Nick Hundley? I don't know what direction AJ's leaning towards.
I've heard a number of people online, as well as other people in the sports journalist business. I'm trying to remember the names exactly, but they were all saying it'd be kind of cool to have like the all-star Latin coaching staff. You know, not only, you know, to be able to have guys that a lot of the people on that bench, like, you know, if Albert Pujols was the manager, instant respect, right? Right when he walks in. But you'd have like guys that would understand like the Dominican culture and know how to interact with these young athletes. I mean, it could be like a bold breath of fresh air rather than some old stodgy, you know, baseball guy that's been around for 30 years.
Yeah, but baseball, John, has become so global that you have different coaches who come from different cultures who then interact with the players from those cultures. And that's why the Padres have Japanese people who work in their front office and work on that coaching staff to deal with the players they bring from the Pacific Rim. And you've got players from the Dominican, and you got players from Mexico, and coaches with that background in them too. So I don't think that's as big a thing. The only concern I have, and I speak from personal experience, you hire a superstar who's never, ever been a manager, the learning curve is really steep. I was in Cleveland when they hired Frank Robinson.
Oh.
And he was player manager at the point that they hired him. I had just gone to Cleveland to work covering the Indians, and he was lost. And he was a player, and they wanted him to hit home runs as a DH. He was a manager, and he just could not handle the everyday business of being a manager.
He was the first black manager, though.
Yes.
I mean, he probably had, you know, all the eyeballs looking at him.
Yeah, but he became a great manager years down the road. But
yeah, he went to the Giants.
Yeah, it was really hard. And they eventually got rid of him just because he just could not cope with all the aspects of being a manager and all those responsibilities. So if you're going to hire somebody that's never, ever done it, your coach, that's a grind. And you're interacting with your manager when you're his third base coach or his bench coach. So you know how hard it is. But if you've never, ever done it and you've just been a star.
Well, essentially the Dodgers hired someone who had never, ever done it, other than, you know, like a couple of games as the interim manager of the Padres. So we can find examples of this both ways all the time. I mean, you get these young savants that come in and they push the right buttons and boom, they win. I mean, you know, Mark Loretta could be hired, certainly deserving, has the brains to do it, never managed anywhere. So I don't know.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, just another quick one here from T. Will that I thought was worthy. He goes, yeah, but Vladdy showed up at the stadium today wearing an Austin Matthews jersey to a Game 7. Austin Matthews.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vladdy is an icon. Of course, he's got the mega contract now to stay with the Toronto Blue Jays. And, you know, Vladdy, if you look closely at Guerrero, he's a different player this year than he was a year ago this week. He was portly last year. I thought he was overweight. He didn't hit well. I didn't think he ran well. He's become kind of an emotional flag carrier for that franchise. And, of course, he's had a tremendous statistical season. So he's arrived as a great player, and he's arrived as a leader of the Blue Jays.
Oh, yeah. Toronto fan loves that.
Oh,
right?
and
you know?
Showing up to represent the Maple Leafs.
Well, yeah.
He'll be in the hearts forever.
Yeah, exactly. Bring that tough guy mentality. Okay, here's a fun one from Run DMC. Down it, firefighter.
Damn right. Claustel Revere. Next one.
Okay, next one. Let's go down the list to John. He goes, hey, I was there Friday night. Absolutely amazing.
When I saw Ohtani hit that ball over the pavilion, I could not believe anybody could power a ball that far. Now, Willie Stargell, I'm led to believe Willie Stargell, the Pirates, hit one in that area also. He's might be the only other one that's launched one over the pavilion roof. But for Ohtani to do it, and then for Ohtani to hit 3 home runs in one game after striking out 10 batters, just Hollywood. It's Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. It's just like the movie The Natural, you know? Just, I mean, like I said, when he hit the 3rd home run, it probably should have hit the lighting standard and sparkles come down, you know, and the whole thing is just, yeah, you know, they're the Dodgers. Yeah, they're preordained.
Just appreciate the accomplishment. You know, baseball, they've been playing baseball since the 1890s, and we're seeing great players. And Babe Ruth was obviously the greatest of the two-way guys. I don't think we will ever see this ever again. This kind of dominance as a pitcher, this kind of dominance as a power hitter, this kind of persona too. There's a joy when you watch Ohtani play, John. Tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a joy that circles him in the way he plays.
Oh yeah, you know, like this whole thing, you know. And he plays this sort of naive, you know, foreigner from out of town, you know, and he just kills it. I mean, he's just so good. Okay. Let's go here to Justice. He goes, Ken Caminiti to be interviewed. Okay. Moving on down. John says, hey, 2 names I'm not hearing about for any of the MLB openings, Mike Rizzo and Dave Martinez. They won a World Series when the Nats ownership was still spending money.
I am surprised that Rizzo has not been interviewed. At least I thought that he was going to get a look-see in Colorado, and it has not happened. Looks like the Rockies are going to hire somebody from the Blue Jays. But there aren't that many general managers' jobs open. Martinez, some of his managerial decisions in recent years weren't very good. Maybe he was a little bit high maintenance. So at this point, maybe he's just not held in high esteem, despite the success he had early, because Rizzo gave him a really good team. I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at the pitching they had and all the big bats that they had and who they signed, who they drafted, there was a window there where the Washington Nationals were pretty damn good, but that was all Mike Rizzo's doing.
It's funny how certain names kind of get hot, you know, and there's all the buzz, and then certain names
disappear.
Yeah, they kind of fall off the edge of the table. Okay, let's keep on trucking here. We'll go here to Arnell. Hey, do you think Alex A-Rod Rodriguez would make a good manager? He would at least put asses in the seats.
I don't think he's good on TV, so why would he make a good manager now? I don't think so. I just have a historical perspective of A-Rod, A-Fraud, that just is, to me, is a real turnoff. And no, and he's never shown any interest in being a front office guy. Now, I don't know if people realize this. He's part of a consortium that bought the NBA Minnesota Timberwolves. This is their first year. This thing finally got approved after about a year and a half of struggles to raise the kind of money, but they bought the Minnesota T-Wolves. So he will be visible in the Twin Cities as one of their co-owners with Mark Lair. But no, he's never shown any inkling to want to do that.
Yeah, A-Rod has cringe moments quite a bit.
You think?
You know, and you're like, but there's a lot of people that are kind of down on A-Rod. They don't like what he says on TV, and they don't think he's really that good of a guy. But I don't know. I don't understand why he gets all these gigs. You know, I mean, he's doing the play-by-play or color commentating. He's in the studio with his buddies Jeter and Big Papi.
It's a name thing.
It's a name thing, but it's like, who loves A-Rod?
I haven't found very many people.
No. I mean, there's Jeter lovers and there's Big Papi lovers and no A-Rod lovers. I mean, even Jennifer Lopez doesn't like A-Rod anymore.
A-Rod was a cheat. Period, exclamation point. He did get suspended, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, end of discussion. Thanks, O'Neill.
Okay, let's go here to Michael. He goes, hey, how about them Vegas Golden Knights, Lee? Good game tonight against undefeated Carolina.
Let's see if they can continue to play well. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, they signed Eichel to the big money contract. It is interesting. Marner, 0 goals to start the season. I think he's feeling some kind of pressure there. And they've got a goaltending injury. Aiden Hill is hurt now. Now, they just signed Carter Hart, the ex-Philadelphia Flyer, though he can't join them until December 1st. It's a good team. There's no doubt about it. And Marner is going to score goals. How's Marner going to score 40? That remains to be seen. What he left behind reputation-wise with the Maple Leafs, not real good, despite all the success that he had on the ice there. So Vegas is good. There's no doubt about it. And some of these teams out west have not started the season very well. Dallas is not. The Kings have not, which is a real surprise.
There are a lot of Golden Knights fans who watch this podcast.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, Lenny, of course, is always on here talking about Golden Knights, but there's a lot of other people commenting about the team. So all good.
Yeah, well, they've had great success. I mean, that's been one of the most unique things of they gave them that franchise. That franchise was good right from the get-go. Okay, next one.
Next one. Let's go to Chris. Hey, one thing you missed about the Dodgers, a weak bullpen suddenly anchored by a strong Roki Sasaki.
Sasaki's just been unbelievable. 8 innings, 1 run allowed, strikeouts. Now, the burning question, how many of those other guys in the bullpen can you really trust? Although Vessier has pitched well, and so has Banda. So it kind of looks like they got 2 left-handers to get him to Sasaki, and that might be good enough because their starting pitchers are giving them length. And that was a big question going forward. And, Kershaw's still there. Now, we'll see if Kershaw's on the World Series roster. I would tend to think maybe you want him as an insurance policy long reliever, but the Dodgers are so deep. Just ask Milwaukee. What was the stat that I had? What was it? 1.40 ERA against Milwaukee in the 4-game sweep. Milwaukee won 97 games. Milwaukee hit 101 against Dodger pitching. It's amazing.
It's just all coming together for the LA Dodgers, and then Roki Sasaki is another chapter in the Hollywood story, the Manhattan Project that they cooked up in Oklahoma. And now he's turned into this incredible closer. It's that they got guys in the laboratory just, cooking up these new guys.
He just told them, throw the fastball, throw the splitter, and we'll use you for 1 inning and max effort. And there you are. And his max effort stuff is
he's
electric.
He's really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, let's go to Callan. Hey, Daniel Jones for comeback player of the year.
Not a bad call. Not a bad call at all. We'll just see as they go to the second half of the schedule. Their schedule gets a little bit tougher, a little bit testier going through the next 6 to 8 weeks of the schedule. But he's got components around him he never had with the New York Football Giants, and that's why he's making plays down the field.
It's interesting to see the players with their helmet off, kind of sitting on the sidelines when the defense is on the field. Mm-hmm. And Daniel Jones, kind of an interesting dude. I mean, he's very kind of quiet.
He's really intellectual.
Yeah, yeah. And he's not like the guy out there, cheering on his offensive line or trying to have the pretty boy haircut. He's just quiet. And then he rolls back out there and takes care of business.
Yeah. They've come together so quick. I don't know anybody that thought that this was going to happen. Anthony Richardson obviously may never play in Indianapolis, and he's hurt again. He's got the 3rd major injury. Jonathan Taylor's always been a good back. He was a heavy-duty back at Wisconsin, really good player. Tyler Warren has just shown up, and he's just such a beast, and he kind of fell into their lap in the middle of the first round of the draft. Offensive front, I mean, I follow those guys in the trenches, and they've drafted well there. Ryan Nelson, and they got some really good people in their front, and their defense is playing really, really hard. The secondary is really small, and I thought the Chargers were going to capitalize against it, but the Chargers could not protect Justin Herbert because I saw no way that Indy was going to be able to defend all the size and the speed that the Chargers had coming off the line of scrimmage at wideout, but they couldn't protect. There was no pocket for Herbert, and even though he threw for 421, it was frantic. I mean, he took so many hits, 15 hits in that game yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, Herbert was running for his life. But isn't it interesting when you watch the Colts and they wear those all white uniforms, kind of get a little bit of that Joe Paterno, Penn State, Nittany Lions vibe, right? A little bit. I mean, at least they have a horseshoe on their helmet.
You get the Johnny Unitas vibe.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. Let's go here to Casey. Hey, Hacksaw, if UC ends the series with Notre Dame, any idea who they might play in place of them?
What they're talking about now, this is all a schedule conflict problem because Notre Dame has now got this linkage, this alliance with the ACC. I had not heard this till Friday. What they are discussing is to make it a season opening week 0 game. It'd be the last week of August. It would be the way to start the season every year. Have Southern Cal play Notre Dame. That'd be cool. Now, historically, it's always been at the back end of the schedule. But this thing has to go on. I mean, they played it 99 years. I mean, don't cancel the sucker out. That might be the solution. Just add it as that extra week 0 game.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, but do you think like coaches like Lincoln Riley, he's been trying to load up on the cupcakes. He's not going to want to play a tough team right out of the
I don't
gate.
think he's going to play one AA football schedule any longer because now the college football playoffs, they're going to count all these non-conference games. You got to have some validity there. Can't have much more validity than play a Notre Dame in a week 0 game.
Can you imagine if they expanded the schedule? You have like a week -1, a week -2. Okay, let's keep going to KQ. Hey, are the Ravens cooked?
A lot of injuries. I don't think Harbaugh's job is in jeopardy, but just a lot of injuries. And obviously Lamar Jackson with the hamstring, and that does not heal overnight. But just a bad run. I mean, they've drafted really well. Historically, they've always drafted well. They've drafted their type of players who come in and played their system very well. But right now, they just don't have a complete 53-man roster. They got, at one point, 2 weeks ago, they had 7 of their 11 starters on defense out with injury. You can't win.
Or what are they, like 1-5 or 1-6?
1-5.
1-5.
Coming off the bye week.
So I mean, even if Lamar Jackson shows up and everyone else shows up, I have to run the table like to really get a wild card
playoffs. That's a big run up the hill. But they are going to get some of the defensive guys back, but I just don't know if it's too little, too late.
Okay, let's keep going. I'll go to Victor. Hey, that UCLA game had quite an ending.
Really did. I mean, it is amazing. Nico Amalaiva has done a great job at quarterback. They're still not running the ball with very much consistency, but he's making so many plays, run and throw. He's kind of a one-man gang. They didn't beat a good Maryland team, but they got it done, and they beat it on a long field goal in the final play of the end. They won 3 in a row. I don't know anybody in the world thought they're going to win 3 in a row, but there's still a bunch of Big Ten games still to be played.
Well, just give the coaching job to Skipper, man. I mean, the guy deserves it, doesn't he?
Well, at this point, so far so good. If they keep winning, you're going to have to give it to him.
Well, what? I mean, obviously the big thing that changed was Deshaun Foster, but I mean, is it because Deshaun Foster was so terrible, or is it because Skipper is so good?
Well, they got rid of both the coordinators. They fired Foster 1 week, then they axed the defensive coordinator, then they axed the offensive coordinator. So Skipper's got some of his own people in place that are doing game plans now, and the X's and O's are a little bit better.
So, the Golden Boy Neuheisel.
Yeah. Wow. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, that was something. Okay, let's go here to Richard. He goes, hey, Fans Forum. The Dodgers are owned by a Wall Street firm with smart business people. Their front office has brilliant baseball minds. Fans complaining they ruin baseball should look at their team.
No, I don't think they ruined baseball. They just took advantage of the marketplace and the resources that they have. And they have not made a lot of mistakes in free agency. And historically, they draft well and they sign well. And then they obviously sign big money free agents too. Baseball's problem is what baseball has allowed to exist, which is all these small market owners take all this revenue share money and not pour it back into the product. That's different than what the Padres have done. And, until baseball gets the floor to spending to match the luxury tax, we're never going to get a cap. But to have the luxury tax can stay in place, but everybody who gets revenue share has to spend to the floor. And the floor might be $130 million. So if the Dodgers can have 383, but everybody has to spend 130, 140, that's going to mean there's more money in Milwaukee or Pittsburgh or Kansas City or Miami, Tampa. They have to spend. More money has to be spent, which means more mid-level veteran players are going to come to those clubs to make those clubs more competitive. That's what they got to get to. This floor to spending, it works in every sport. NFL, NBA, NHL, all have it.
Yeah, I mean, you got like teams like the Green Bay Packers that are relevant, who's not going to have, as much money coming in the door as like an LA or a New York team. Did you say there was a chart I saw online that stack ranked Major League Baseball teams by total revenue and by total payroll, and then by percentage the revenue was what percentage of revenue was payroll? And there were some teams like the Marlins were only like 35% of their, roughly that, 35% of their revenue went to payroll. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's just a disgrace.
Exactly. And that's what the union has to. Union represents every player. They represent Juan Soto and they represent the 14th pitcher on Pittsburgh's staff. They need to make sure everybody operates by the same financial parameters, which means more money is available in Pittsburgh or Miami and Tampa Bay, because they represent the 25th player on a roster in addition to Juan Soto. And they don't see it that way, and that's wrong. The health of the game, if you had pennant contenders in all these other mid-sized markets because they had to spend to the floor, You imagine the excitement in Pittsburgh and Kansas City and Tampa if you're in the damn playoff race in terms of crowds and revenue you're producing. That makes the whole product better and more profitable, and the players all share from that.
Well, that's assuming people show up and spend money at the gate.
Well, they will if they're in a pennant race.
Well, but they might not. I mean, they might. Like, Artie Moreno spends a lot of money. I mean, imagine for some of these teams that like Miami, who like barely anybody shows up, and if they spent 60% of their revenue on the team, the other remaining 40% wouldn't be enough to keep the lights on. I mean, there could be some situations like that where certain franchises could be losing money.
No,
but so if they'd have to find a way to protect the owners from allowing that to happen, to incentivize them to spend money.
Florida spending, it has to be mandated. Okay, move on. A couple more here.
Okay, here's 3 quick ones from 2 guys. Michael says, Ohtani needs a drug test to see if he's a cheater.
Oh.
KQ says, yeah, he's definitely on the juice. Ohtani is Barry Bonds. No, there's no way.
I didn't know there were that many people out there that are next to you in left field with opinions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. I mean, obviously they don't drug test these guys, but
maybe drug test these guys.
Yeah, they should. Okay, let's more UCLA comments. This is from Emmanuel. He goes, UCLA's won 3 in a row. What are the odds of UCLA making a bowl this season?
Big hill to run up because they still got a bunch of Big Ten games to be played. But so far, so good. The quarterback has really played well. And although I was offended by Nico bailing out of Tennessee and then showing up at the last minute, forcing Joey Aguilar off the roster, Aguilar wound up going to Tennessee and wound up being a trade of quarterbacks. But Nico's played really, really well. But he's going to be there for 15 minutes. He's going to leave. He said, I'm going to the NFL after 1 year at UCLA. I don't know that he's ready for the NFL, but he has played really, really well. And the coaching staff has done some really dynamic things with their players. So far, so good.
I like the UCLA uniforms. I mean, they were just classy.
Old school.
And I saw they had like a throwback. It was kind of like a lighter version of the blue than they normally wear. Not like a powder blue or like the Chargers, but like a silvery blue, So I know. And the dudes, they wear those like gold socks and the gold shoes. It's a cool look.
You're big on aesthetics.
Yeah. Baseball is art. Football is art. Basketball is art.
This guy liked the Savannah Banana uniforms. What's wrong with him?
Okay,
let's do a couple more here before we wrap it up.
From Chris, Johnny Manziel and Jameis Winston, freshmen to win the Heisman.
I totally skipped my mind. It's been so long. For some reason, Tony Dorsett's name is stuck in my mind that he won it as a freshman at the University of Pittsburgh. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Archie Griffin won it as a sophomore and as a junior at Ohio State.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel definitely was a freshman. I don't remember Jameis Winston.
Florida State.
I remember it was Florida State. I just wasn't sure if it was his freshman year. But yeah, right on. Chris, thanks for that. Okay, let's keep on trucking, and we'll go here to foul play. He goes, hey, this show rules, though. So people are kind of smack talking online here. And then Jersey Walcott says, Dodgers pitchers did the same thing to the Pods. Love your stadium, San Diego.
Yep, it's pretty cool. And we haven't had any response from anybody, maybe haven't been able to get through about what Andrew Friedman said about, who cares about winning the baseball trading deadline? The Dodgers win in October. Hey, Padre fans, take that.
Oh, yeah, that was a punch in the nose. Okay, let's go here to Little C. White. As Commanders fan, not feeling great with the Jaden Daniels injury because Adam Schefter said, as of now, it's not likely he plays against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Way too many hits. I mean, he got hurt at the end of last season. Now he's had 2 major injuries this season, and hamstrings don't heal in 15 minutes. It's just Washington is not having the kind of season I thought they would. They surprised so many people last year, but they've had a bunch of injuries along the offensive line. And Daniels, again, you move the pocket, you run the football, you're going to take hits. And he's gotten whacked, and now he's been hurt twice this season already, and we're only at midway point of the year.
Is Austin Eckler still on that team?
He ruptured his Achilles tendon. He's gone for the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
That happened about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Keep on trucking. Let's go to Steven. Hey, the Brewers are trying to trade their ace just to avoid paying him $8 million. This is what's wrong with baseball. Then a team like the Dodgers swoops in and signs him.
Well, you're talking about Peralta being on the trade block. That would be sad because for the bulk of what Milwaukee's done, it's been with homegrown products outside of Christian Yelich. And they've gotten guys coming from all different places, guys taking off the stockpile. I mean, Andrew Vaughn came from the White Sox after the White Sox gave up on him, and Vaughn had gotten to Chicago as a young star from the minor leagues, and they thought, well, it's a good career, and then it fell apart. But boy, he had a good bounce back season. I don't know why they would want to trade Peralta unless they just feel that the price tag on him is going to get bigger and bigger, and you might as well get something for him now before he becomes a free agent. But that's a blow because he was 17-7.
It's a business, man. I mean, people are making business decisions, and it kind of sucks as a fan. I mean, you lose these guys, but different teams are playing the game
by different
ways.
rules.
Yeah, different rules, different strategies. It's interesting. Okay, let's keep on going. Let's go to Danny Boy. Hey, Dodger fans might be right about Manny El Ministro being the common denominator all these years. And he goes on to say, Manny might be making that clubhouse locker room toxic. Maybe that's why Tatis doesn't play to his full potential.
I don't know. I don't know if you can link one to the other. Manny is Manny's persona. Tatis is a great individual player, but I don't know how baseball smart he really is. And there's a lot of personal stuff off the field with Tatis that I don't know that they're ever going to solve. At the end of the day, they've given us 5 great years of baseball at Petco Park, but at the end of the day, they've underachieved virtually every year in postseason play. So have they really accomplished what they need to be? They just haven't gotten there. They get to the World Series and you say, this blueprint totally works. Am I wrong or am I right?
Am I wrong or am I rhyming? I don't know. I'm not going to blame Manny for all this. I mean, Manny's a dude. I mean, he's looked upon. I mean, granted, he's not the same as every other dude. He's got his own personality, his own quirks, but I'm not blaming Machado.
But he's a 211 hitter in postseason. His whole life has been failure in October.
He hit a home run in Game 2 against the Cubs and won the game for the Padres.
Have we ever been to a World Series?
We have this same dance you and I go through every time. I know. He might have played in a World Series for the Dodgers.
You could argue with me, but you'd be wrong.
Okay, let's go to social media. There's some really good ones in social media. Okay, let's go here to let's talk about Mike Schilt. And oh my gosh, I got this Danny Boy. Can't get Danny Boy off the screen. Okay, here we go. This is from Jeffrey. Hey, because I bet if Schilt didn't have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, I'm positive he would have a different perspective on what's going on in this franchise under AJ and why he walked away with a 2-year extension after a 90-game winning season. It's ironic in the postseason, we see the early signs of a franchise under poor leadership to find out that the skipper is leaving. And I've seen it from my seats for the last 11 years.
Well, I guess a burning question, he walked away from all the money. He's not going to get paid. I don't know many guys who walk away from $4 million. He left that on the table because he was burned out. But, I mean, the insinuation is his inability to have relationships with people who worked underneath him and treat them nicely led to this whole mess. So that's where we are right now with Mike Schilt. I think great IQ, baseball IQ. I think the guy was a grinder. You have to have a private life. He had no private life. But the stories that broke out of St. Louis within days after Schilt stepped away here and this stuff started to leak in San Diego are just identical. And Cardinal players are of the opinion, how could you hire a staff and then treat them so miserably behind closed doors when you hired them because you thought they were good baseball people? Schilt hid behind the phrase, I have standards. Well, standards include personal relationships, not browbeating and beating them up all the time to the point where your coaches want to leave and don't want to work for you anymore. So it's a much deeper thing than just wins and losses.
I mean, how many guys walk away from their contract and leave money on the table? I mean, it's really rare.
Yeah.
So just kind of, that's why it's such an odd thing to happen. Then it makes me suspicious because it doesn't match it doesn't pass the smell test. Why would he walk away from, $4 million?
Because he was burned out and his health was really suffering because that's who he is. He couldn't.
But it was the off season, man. The dude goes to Cancun. He can chill and kind of come back fresh again.
Unless you've walked that road where you put so much pressure on yourself that you can no longer enjoy success. I mean, I've had NFL coaches who have told me they got out of it because they couldn't handle it anymore. That the joys of victory were so short because the minute you did, you started to worry about the next game and what was going to happen. That there was nothing fulfilling about having success because it was always the next week and the next crisis, and I lost my quarterback or da-da-da-da-da. So I can understand about the whole burnout factor for Schilt.
Yeah, it's just strange. The whole thing is just kind of weird. Okay, I got to share this. This is the funniest Twitter post I think I've seen in a long time, and this was from Jeremy, the pimp lord from 619, and he says, Ben and Woods to energize the soul, Kaplan and crew to achieve inner peace, Quintera to learn, John and Jim to forget, 1904 for fun, Gwyn intelligence for pain, talking friars when making moves, and hacksaw reels when making love. Pimptacular.
Oh, well, we all come at it from different angles. Some of us are very successful. The others are wannabes.
It's just the funniest thing. You're just listening to like Instagram reels while you're with your lady.
Not I. I tell you what.
It's just funny. I mean, it's just funny.
I can't believe how many friends you have out in left field with your opinions.
Yeah, it's just funny. Okay, let's go. Let's get a more serious comment here. And this is interesting. This guy seems to be in the know. His name is Michael Jenna-Downs, and it's small print, but this is important. He says, you need to take a serious look at a couple or maybe one so-called leader in that clubhouse as part of the problem. I work with Mark Loretta during my Brewers front office years. Mark is due for an opportunity to either manage, general manager, or VP of baseball operations. He's highly intelligent, calm most times, knows baseball, and had a great career on the field for the Padres. I compare him to Craig Counsell with the Cubs, a long playing career, calm, and players trust him. These guys have Robin Yount's qualities, except they're not Robin Yount. The difference is that Mark went to Northwestern University. This should tell you a lot about Mark Loretta.
Thinking man. I think that's the best way to describe Loretta. And he stepped away at the end of his career and decided, I want to experience, he told me, a number of different things. I want to be a coach. I want to see that grind. I want to work in the front office. I want to understand about infrastructure and contracts, etc. He has done all these wide variety of things. So maybe he feels I'm ready to manage now because he's always known players. And now he's learned other aspects to the game prep, obviously player personnel, contracts, etc. Maybe he winds up being a guy. Somebody's got to give him an opportunity. I know Preller likes him. I think Preller respects him because they brought him in here to be kind of an assistant behind the scenes and do a lot of projects.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast with Kaplan a few times, Loretta, and he's obviously just a brilliant kid, or man, I should say. He's not a bad guy. His name has always sort of been kicked around, you know. I don't know if has he ever interviewed for a manager job somewhere else? Not
that I know of, but he's interviewed for coaching jobs, and he's obviously gone through interviews to get hired to work in somebody's front office as an assistant to the assistant.
Yeah, he's a deserving guy for sure.
Yeah, thinking man.
Thinking man, yeah. Exactly. Well, it's a thinking man's game.
Okay, let's do one more here before we put a lid on it.
Okay, this is a good one too. This is from Jonathan. He goes, hey, only the Yankees are the evil empire. Come up with a different name for the Dodgers.
Dodger dollars.
Marcia Brady.
Oh.
That's the Dodgers, man. They're Marcia Brady.
It's going to be fun. I don't know whether the Jays survive or the Mariners survive. It's going to be if it's an all West Coast World Series, that's going to be kind of cool. And I'd like to see DePoto get it because he's such a wheeler dealer and he's worked so hard everywhere he's ever been in Major League Baseball, put a winner. He's got a winner now. But this is the postseason. And I'm looking at this Mariners pitching staff and they look like they have stage fright. And if they get into the Fall Classic against the Dodgers and all those all-stars and all those bats, they might have stage fright. But tell you what, their batting order, that Mariner batting order against the Dodger Gold Standard starting pitching, that'd be fun to see what the first, second, and third innings look like.
Yeah, it's kind of cool seeing Josh Naylor, getting deep in the playoffs. I'm happy for him. But Seattle fans, they deserve this. I mean, they've gone. I mean,
we went through all the bad times with the Seattle Pilots.
Well, yeah, the Pilots, and they never been to the World Series. The Seahawks won one Super Bowl, right?
With Holmgren.
Okay, and then the Supersonics, I think, might have won the NBA championship a couple of times.
The Jack Sikma era.
Like late 70s.
Yeah. And University of Washington under Don James was legendary.
Okay, and then they got Gonzaga out there. I mean, the hockey team. I mean, well, who's the hockey team in
Seattle Kraken.
Oh, the Kraken, but they're new.
Yeah.
So is Vancouver kind of the Seattle hocky team before the Kraken arrived on the scene?
Vancouver's over there.
So they're like a championship starved city because you'd have to go back to the 1980s when the Huskies were winning national championships. It's been a long time.
So it'd be cool. I think Seattle Dodgers would be kind of a really cool series of storylines, but we'll find out what happens tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Here we go.
Either that or be Dodger Blue versus O Canada, and they love them. They across the Dominion, and that Dominion stretches from British Columbia to Labrador and Newfoundland. Everybody's a Blue Jay fan. I mean, that is a countrywide team.
Yeah, I remember when they came into the league, and you're like the Blue Jays. I didn't really understand it, but I like the uniform. I like the way that the font of the numbers has the two stripes, and they've kept that consistent the whole time.
Yep.
It's a good-looking uniform for the Jays. So, yeah, they've already won 2. They won 2 in the 90s.
Yeah, that's some really good teams. The Joe Carter teams are really special.
Robbie Alomar Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great era. And I remember Ricky Henderson was on that team for a while, wasn't he?
And the Bautista bat toss after the home run. It's legendary.
Oh, yeah. And then the Bautista's, Roofnet Odor fight that they had that one time. So there's a lot. It'd be fun to see Seattle or Toronto knock off the Dodgers, but it's going to be a Hollywood script, Lee. The Dodgers are destined to win. It's everything goes the Dodgers' way.
Enjoy Ohtani. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't think we'll ever see this again. Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Man, we blew this thing up today. It was